Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
What is up, film fans and Cheap Shot Nation? I'm your host, Luke. You are, as I've already said, the Cheap Shot Nation, and this is Quick Shot Reviews for Cheap Shot Entertainment, also known as Talk is Cheap on podcast channels. Welcome. Today's movie is Tarot, a film about cards, only not as cool as Joker, and is full of every horror trope done really, really badly, might I add, that you could ever possibly want. Unfortunately, no one asked for this film, and they basically blew their load in the trailers. And even then, they weren't very good. But there was no real alternative to what to go and see. So I wanted to go and see Tarot, a film directed by Anna Hallberg and Spencer Cohen. Sounds Scandinavian. But this is Tarot, when a group of friends recklessly violates a sacred rule of tarot readings, they unknowingly unleash an unspeakable evil trapped within the cursed cards. One by one, they come face to face with fate and end up in a race against death. Sounds rubbish. It is rubbish. Stars Avantika, Jacob Batalon, who was in Spider-Man, the more recent ones. Olwen Fure as Alma Astrin, and that is a mark of, that is the mark of a great film, because I believe she was in the Netflix Chainsaw Massacre. So yeah, great, yeah. Yeah, when I saw her, I was like, yeah, this is gonna be bad, isn't it? Yes, she does play. Sure, she does. She plays the. Anyway, so she's the guide, the one they call on, the one with all the wisdom, the one that everyone else thinks is a kook. It's just a really bad film. It's the setup is terrible. The monsters slash ghosts are all the same, and I was hoping for something like 13 Ghosts, where each monster on the tarot card would have a different ability. They would have something about them that was different, but as it was, because the same spirit was trapped within all of the cards, it was trapped within the deck of cards, they were all the same. They all pretty much, I mean, actually, no, the design of them was pretty cool, I've got to say. I was going to find something that I enjoyed about this film apart from the end. And that's not to say it was a good ending. It was just the end of the film where I could actually leave. That's how bad this film was, and I've seen some absolute stinkers since I've had my cinema card. But I would have been really annoyed if I'd have paid to go and see this. Yeah, it's your standard PG-13. It'd be good for a youngster that's trying to get into horror movies. yeah. I'm not going to pretend that, I'm going to be clever enough to understand tarot cards or anything like that. But it's a load of cliches together, mixed into a bowl and poured out and burnt to a crisp. They're not even done well. It was terrible. I mean, it was like the episode of South Park where they say Family Guy is written by manatees, and there's a load of manatees in a tank, and they just pick a trope, and that's what they go with on that episode of Family Guy. That's pretty much it. I imagine them having a tank of manatees, and they pick out the plot of this one. Yeah, it's bad. You've got a load of kids who are at college, even though you don't ever see a college campus, who we're supposed to care for, but they all seem to live in massive student accommodation, singularly in big fancy flats. Seem to be able to afford to hire a big house to play with the tarot cards in as a weekend away, and drive brand new 4x4 cars. You lost me at that point, and that was what, 15-20 minutes in? Yeah. Death is stalking them. So you've got a creepy house, you've got the stalker, the ghostly stalker, the spiritual stalker. It's just not good. It's just not good, and I'm running out of things to say to fill the time. So that's what I feel like I'm doing right now. Do not go and see this film. If you want to see something cool and funny, go and see Abigail. That is good. Sting is coming out. I'd really like to go and see Boy Kills World. That sounds pretty cool. Civil War is also very good. But this quite possibly may be the worst film I've ever had the displeasure of watching. And I've watched Killer Sofa. This was not better than a film on Amazon Prime called Killer Sofa. Awful. I was definitely the fool card in this one, because, yeah, it's bad. It's really, really bad. Even Night Swim had some redeeming features. This, however, does not. If I had have paid for it, I would have walked out of the theatre. I would have actually walked out of this one. There was a false finish as well, but I'd already got up and was ready to go, and I really couldn't be bothered to stop and wait for it to finish, because it was bad, terrible, awful. All of these tropes, just awful, 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 awful. And I'm going to keep saying awful until I fill the time. Bad. If you've seen Tarot and you did enjoy it, please do let us know, because I'd like to know. I'd like to know your reasoning behind it. Try and get my head around it. But as I always say with films, if you want to go and see it, go see it. My advice is to save your money, save your time, go and wait for something decent to come out. And that is the end of this episode. We're going to see Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes this week, so please join us for that one. In the meantime, like, subscribe, follow us, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.
Hiya.